if a regular churchgoer, the person who is just attending the church but is not maybe so much into intellectual stuff, studies, academics, books, if you would talk to them, um, and they'll be like curious, like, okay, what's such a big deal with archaeology? I mean, yeah, it can be helpful in their mind, but like, it's not maybe something that much important for them. I would disagree strongly. How would you tell them gently, but still in the spirit of the truth? How would you tell them why is archaeology important for the regular Christian?
Okay, that is a very big question. I would say, going back to that analogy of the Shakespearean play, you can absolutely have a Shakespearean play with just a bunch of plainclothes actors in a room, like they're all wearing jeans and t-shirts, and they're doing the lines from Shakespeare, and maybe they're getting the right, tone and setting the right emotion. But if it's just an empty room and they're all just in jeans and t-shirts, it's not the full experience of Shakespeare that people usually expect, right? You want to have these gorgeous over the top Elizabethan costumes, and you want to have, maybe a castle in the background, and, and how are you going to have Macbeth if you don't have, Lady Macbeth clutching the dagger, So you need all these details to fill out and enrich the experience of this Shakespearean play, or else it's just a bunch of people quoting Shakespeare in their blue jeans, So I feel like people don't realize what they're missing out on because their experience has been that group of people in blue jeans quoting Shakespeare. We don't realize what we don't know. And the more you dig into the world of archaeology and find out more about the background, and it introduces this whole new dimension of just color and texture. And then you start learning about, well, what did people wear? What did they eat? It humanizes the biblical characters to where they're not just some people walking around with towels on their heads like you see in like the children's ministry play. They're actual people that had real experiences, and we can relate to them more on the basis of that. So I don't know. Every archaeologist I've ever known is like this huge nerd or geek or however whatever term they prefer. But we all just, oh my gosh, why aren't people more excited about this? And so sharing that passion is part of our passion, really. And there are some great people that are trying to do that in the world.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I wish more people see it that way. As someone who loves both archaeology um, and apologetics as one of the branches of theology, I see them so much powerful working together, and I see them as both tools to strengthen someone's faith, especially when someone is dealing with doubts, has a lot of questions. Um, do you share the same frustration as I do when people have available so much data, even without them buying so much books or going to school, spending time and money, but still a lot of good articles and good YouTube videos are available online for free. Yet people are not, and I'm saying about people in the churches, they're not much interested to learn and grow and get these answers. And I know in my mind, I'm always curious. I always have questions. That's why I want to dig to get more answers. And usually what I learn is that the answers, one, when I learn them for myself, are very beneficial for me in the future when I'm talking with someone who is in dire need of those answers, but they didn't know, like you said. So maybe did you experience that you maybe in your church or in other churches that you will see a dire need for archaeology to be known more, to be spread more, that people will be acquainted at least with most important archaeological data coming both from the Old Testament and New Testament, yet they don't even think about learning. They don't care about investigating.
Well, it's interesting that you've had that experience, because my experience has been completely opposite to that, especially in the church we're currently serving at. People here in our church are so hungry for the truth. Like they want to dig deep into scripture, they want to access everything it has to offer them. And if archaeology is a means to understanding it better, then they are absolutely going to want to know more about it. So our senior pastor just recently retired, but before he did, his wife and I, we co-led a Bible study for the adults on Wednesday nights, and it was very ambitious. It was a 12-week Bible study, and it was the background of the Old Testament in 12 weeks. It was a lot of research, but I loved it. I know Miss Sandy loved it as well. And how we did it was, again, that distinction between archaeology and biblical studies. She handled the biblical studies side of things. And I contributed a little bit because, I do have my master's kind of co-divided into biblical studies as well. But I handled the archaeological side of it. And it's been amazing to me to see, and these are full-grown adults. Some of them are, old enough to be my grandparents, and they are learning for the first time about different discoveries that have been made over the last 100 years, really, and some of them within the last 20 years that have a major effect on how we understand the world of the Bible. And so it was so exciting. It was such a privilege to be a part of that. We may end up, and like I said, our senior pastor has retired. So there is talks, though, with our discipleship team about possibly doing a study over the background of the New Testament in the future. So we're still in the works on that, but hopefully soon.
I have to tell, I envy you and your experience about people being surrounded by people who crave for knowledge and appreciate knowledge. I believe we desperately need, well, one of the things the global church needs, that it's more it's more knowledge and more truth.